Is Auburn football improving, or was Mississippi State just that bad? Let's talk about it. Nick, let's go. So, welcome in to Auburn Addicts, everybody. I got my man Nick Frazier from the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Marcus not here today. Just want to acknowledge Marcus.
Shout out to Marcus.
So we just fresh off this victory, man. Fresh off victory. You know what I'm saying? First, you know how we do it. Nick, off this victory, what is your mental state? What is your emotional state, man? Get on the couch. Tell the doctor your emotional state, man.
I'm actually optimistic.
What? Really?
I'm actually optimistic right now.
You okay? Optimistic. Are you really optimistic for what? What are you optimistic for, man?
Looking at the schedule going forward.
Okay.
If the Auburn offense plays the way that it played in the first half, Auburn should be 7-4 going into the Iron Bowl.
What you talking about, Willie?
Okay. Oh, my feelings, and we on this show we get in touch with. We are men getting in touch with our feelings, connecting with other men's feelings. How I feel guardedly pessimistic. And I'm gonna tell you why. Nick. And this is gonna lead into the next question.
Okay.
I don't know what just happened. Honestly, I really don't know what just happened. And I'm gonna go into the next question I got with you. And the reason I'm saying this is, did Auburn hit a switch? Are they that good? Or is just Mississippi State UMass bad? You see what I'm saying? Or was it just a function of us just playing somebody just horrible? Well, you know what I'm saying? Talk to me on that as far as your optimism.
It's a valid question. Very valid question. Going into the game, Mississippi State was statistically better on defense than LSU and Ole Miss.
Okay.
Statistically, they were better.
Okay.
I honestly can't answer that question, to be completely honest with you, because if you look at the game, Ole Miss made a little run in the second half. They made a run to come back. They were literally 2 steps away, literally 2 feet out of bound away from that game being tied. I know you had the touchdown pass in the corner where both his feet came down, but one came down out of bounds first, and then the other one where old buddy threw it out of bounds over his head and in the end zone, and he stepped out. So yeah. I think it was the tale of 2 halves with Auburn yesterday. The Auburn offense and the Auburn offense first half, Auburn offense second half. That's why I said at the beginning, I'm optimistic. If Auburn's offense plays the way it played in the first half, they should be 7-4 going to the Iron Bowl. I don't know. That's why I'm optimistic, because I've seen they can do it. And I've seen they can do it with Peyton Thorne at quarterback.
Okay.
Now, I'm interested to see what happens next week, because they play Vanderbilt. We play Vanderbilt next week. Then Arkansas comes after that. So I am actually interested to see how this happens on the road. Will this travel outside of Jordan Hare Stadium? I'm excited to see. Optimistic. We'll see. Cautiously optimistic. I should have said that, because they kind of reverted back to their old Auburn in the second half. You know, the Auburn offense did. Now, granted, they only had 1 offensive drive in the third quarter. So they probably didn't get enough rhythm to keep going like they did in the first half. But I will say it again. If the Auburn offense can do what they did in the first half, the rest of the season for a full game, Auburn should be 7-4 going to the Iron Bowl. And I feel confident about that game.
Okay, that's the reason I'm optimistically I'm optimistically or cautiously pessimistic. That's what I said. Cautiously pessimistic is what I said. That's the reason. It's like they came out and they started so good, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, we about to put up 40 points. The way they came out in their execution. What happened in the second half, man, that you didn't score not even a field goal? What happened?
They kicked the field goal in the second half.
In the second half? Did they?
Yeah, because it was 24. They scored 24 points in the first.
Okay. So they did kick a field goal.
Yeah, the only points they got in the second half was 3.
That's still like, dude, you only scored 3 points. Like, what happened, man?
I think Ole Miss defense started running the ball more effectively. Honestly, they was holding on to the ball a lot. They converted on a lot of third downs,
but we were still doing some like 3 and outs, and
And that third quarter though, I know Auburn only had the ball one time in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Now the fourth quarter was different. Auburn could have put some points up in the fourth quarter. They could have. They could have easily put up another 10 in the fourth. But I don't know. I don't know what happened. It kind of felt like they was just sat on the lead. It was like, we're just gonna let the defense do what they do and hold on to this lead, which is dangerous to do. In my personal opinion, because if you continue to do that, defense can get tired. So you need your offense to sustain drives long enough to keep the defense, get a break. But yeah, they was playing with fire because Ole Miss was trying to make a run to come back. I'm not Ole Miss. Mississippi State was trying to make a run to come back, and they almost did.
I agree, man. They were a few plays away.
Yeah.
And I said this, and you can tell me what you think about this thought. I told Slazier that if Will Rogers was playing, we probably would have lost that game.
Oh my God. Who you telling? I agree with you on that.
Okay, so that's not a crazy thought.
I wouldn't say lose, but I would say that game would have got a lot more interesting in the fourth quarter. It would have got a lot more interesting in the fourth quarter. I don't know if Auburn would have lost the game. I mean, it's a possibility it could have happened if you would have played, but definitely that fourth quarter, they would have at least scored another touchdown in that fourth quarter. That game probably like a 27-20 game. Instead of a 2-possession win. But yeah, you are right. If Will Rogers would have played, because was Mike Wright. Mike Wright was overthrowing some receivers like 6-7 feet down the field. I mean 6-7 8 yards down the field above over their heads. And I'm like, man, if that was an accurate pass, you might be talking about another 10 points on the board for Ole Miss. I mean, I keep saying Ole Miss, for Mississippi State in that game. That would have been an interesting fourth quarter.
Okay, going forward, and I haven't said all that. And you said the thing, and I cannot believe you was like Peyton Thorne. You gave Peyton Thorne a thumbs up.
Hey, look.
Can they give him his truck? Can they give him his truck back, Nick? Can they keep his truck? Can they keep his truck this week?
He can turn the truck in and come get it back the next morning. Like, he ain't gotta like turn it back in and they keep it. But he still have to turn it in and then come sign it out and sign it back in, every day. He can keep it. I need to see him do it on the road. If he does what he did against Vanderbilt on the road, because it's still a road game.
Yes.
If he does that on the road, I'm like, okay, Peyton Thorne. All right, I apologize for everything I said.
Okay,
I will say that. I will apologize, Peyton Thorne, for everything I said. If he can do that on the road.
Okay, let's do this, man. Let's do this. So we'll go week to week. Can Peyton keep his truck?
Yeah, can Peyton keep his truck?
Can Peyton keep his truck? Can Peyton keep his NIL deal truck? So this week, last week before last, it got repossessed.
Yeah, repossessed.
Last week, they still got it. Now you Nick calling them back and saying, okay, Peyton,
you can come sign it out.
You can come sign it out on a day-to-day basis, but you got to bring it back.
Exactly.
Before we close, and you can come sign it out again. So okay.
Exactly.
He on
it out.
He on a rental car day-to-day basis.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
I got you. So if he went against Vanderbilt, then you gonna let him. You just gonna go on a week-to-week basis. Then week to week.
Nah, he's still gonna be day to day. But see, the thing
Hold up, a road game Vanderbilt is day to day.
Because see, it's still Vanderbilt.
Dang,
Vanderbilt just got beat by Ole Miss. Vanderbilt just got beat by Ole Miss 33-7.
Yeah, they did. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what I'm looking for next week is if the offense can continue to do this on the road.
Okay.
If they can do this on the road in a hostile environment, and I'm not saying Vanderbilt is hostile by any means, but you do it away from the confines of Jordan-Hare Stadium. You can do it on the road, and then next week, after that, you can go into Arkansas and do that against a competent Arkansas defense that actually is pretty decent. Then we can talk about, you can keep it on a week-to-week basis.
Okay. So if he do Vanderbilt and then he'll go. So if he do Vanderbilt and Arkansas,
he can keep it on a week-to-week basis.
He back on a week to be. He can at least keep it to the Iron Bowl.
Exactly.
Or is he extended through the rest of the year?
Nah.
If he beat Arkansas,
it's week. It's still week to week.
Okay.
Week to week. If he beat Alabama, he can have it. He can
just have a truck.
He just have a truck. Then if he can beat Alabama, that's
8-4
season right there.
Bro, if they could do that, man, I'm just be honest with you. If they could just beat Vanderbilt, beat Arkansas, is this New Mexico State, right?
New Mexico State, yeah.
I'm just be honest with you, and I don't want to be a moral victory guy, but if they can win those games, go into the Iron Bowl, go 7-4. If they can make the Iron Bowl respectable, keep it respectable, even if they lose, they're 7-5. If they can win the bowl game, you have an 8 win season with that. What just happened to have an 8? You know what I'm saying? Then you got momentum. I'm okay because that's kind of what we predicted. And again, I think we going back to. It's just how it looked, man. Yeah,
it didn't look cohesive or together at all. But if you able to get to the end of the season and you go 7-5 at the end of the season, and you go to a bowl game and you get a bowl game, like you said, you 8-5. I think that's for what happened this year on the offensive side of the ball, and you go 8-5. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that I'll be happy, man, with an 8-5 and then going in, and I think recruiting will still have the momentum. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get in, man. I'm gonna get into some interesting questions in a second, but let me go down to this. Who do you think? Oh no, quarterback. I think I was asking the quarterback thing. Do you go just Peyton Thorne and just keep Robbie out now? Do you just go with Peyton Thorne from what you saw, or do you still experiment?
I mean, I can't argue and say that you take Thorne out after what he did in the first half yesterday. Can't argue and say that. I'm always a proponent of, sticking with one guy and going with that guy and tailoring the offense around him and living it down with what happens. So at this point, I'm gonna have to say you have to stick with Thorne. Because I feel like they have given Robbie every. I'm not gonna say every, but he has gotten opportunities to take over the offense. I'm not saying he has had as many opportunities as Thorne had to take over the offense and to become the starter. But Hugh Freeze went and got Thorne as his guy. And I think Thorne proved yesterday that he can, in certain situations, he can, run a competent offense and, put up points. One thing I enjoyed watching yesterday, he was not waiting on players to get open. He was actually throwing the ball to where they were supposed to be. And he was letting guys go make plays. And you saw that. So if Thorne continues to do that, I see why not let him just continue the season on out. Now next year, I don't know if I can deal with another season of Peyton Thorne at quarterback next year, but we'll see. Next year's a whole different conversation though.
Okay, we're gonna get into that because I got a few questions I want to ask. All right, my next question is, and I know you and Marcus, y'all really on this defense. Y'all love this defense.
Yes, I think it's a good defense.
Okay, man, what has been going on the first parts of these games, bro? Take it back to LSU. Fresh off a bye week. LSU just go down and score. No resistance. Get the ball again. They go down and score again. No resistance. Ole Miss, they just no resistance. Last week, man, it's like Mississippi State with a backup quarterback just moving the ball. I mean, being a defensive guy, What do you see defensively? Is that more a function of scheme? I mean, what's going? Tell me from your eyes, what do you think is going on?
I think I think it's probably more scheme than anything. I think it has more to do with depth as well too. I think they're not really deep on the front seven. If you ask me, I think a lot of guys are playing hurt as well too. And I will always go back to it. If your offense is not sustaining drives long enough for your defense to get rest, just wearing them out faster. But no, I think scheme has to play a part in it. But they've been doing a really, really, really good job of I tell you exactly what this defense remind me of. Ted Roof.
Okay.
Bend but don't break.
That was a bend, bro. Yeah.
Bend but don't break defense. You know, they'll give up points, you know, between the 20s, but when it gets in the red zone, they kind of lock down a little bit. That's what it reminds me of a little bit. But we have a better secondary than what people think. I think this was I think the stat read that this was the 17th game that Auburn had with a turnover, with a takeaway. So I mean, I don't know. It might be 17. It might not. I don't know. It's a number.
It was somewhere in the area. Yeah, it was somewhere in the area.
17 somewhere.
Yeah, it was somewhere in the area.
Something like that. But yeah, no, man. I think the defense is just. I think the biggest thing is lack of depth. If they had more depth and they can rotate bodies in and out, you know, freshly on each drive, I think that'll help a lot. But when the guys that are hurt, it's kind of hard to do that.
So you thinking, okay, so you telling me just a total, it's a total of over the season is just they are worn down. So now it's like in the beginning of these games, but what's crazy though is like it's like even with Ole Miss, they spotted Ole Miss. So again, 14 points too?
Yeah.
The same way they're spotting teams 14 points and then locking them down. Yeah. So I'm just like, what is going on that y'all can spot them 14 and then just lock them down? Why can't they do that from the beginning of the game, man? Just put, you know, I don't know. And maybe it's teams getting out of their script more. I'm trying to figure out or maybe it's like he's just planning. He's getting adjusted as a defensive coordinator. I'm just kind of.
You got to think of it though. Those are the only two games to where, you know, that Ole Miss and LSU game were the only two games to where the defense kind of was like, you know, you looked at him, he was like, wait a minute, now what's going on? But you got to realize though, Ole Miss and offense have prolific offenses. It's just this year, for some reason, LSU's defense isn't that great. And Ole Miss really never had a defense, you know, things like nature from the jump. But prolific offenses, when they scheme so well against what other defenses do, I mean, it's I don't know, they just hit sometime on big plays, and the tempo. I think that tempo thing gets the defense as well too, because I know Ole Miss runs tempo. Lane Kiffin want to run tempo as much as possible. And things of that nature. So yeah, I think that tempo has something to do with it as well too.
Hey, George probably watching like, yeah. Yeah, I like the way y'all talk about Ole Miss. What's crazy, I'm about to stay on Ole Miss and ask this question. You know what I'm saying? And George probably gonna really smile on this one. But check this out, man. This is a question I have since you right there. With Ole Miss, would you say Ole Miss is more talented, has a more talented roster than Auburn, or no? Who has more talented? Okay. Now, I mean, this is something I was thinking. So you saying that, let me know, okay, I'm not on my rockers. Why is it that Lane Kiffin can have a less talented roster? Man, they're not even close to us right now recruiting, I don't think, for next year. Okay, how is it that he can have, his roster is not that talented, man, but they just look so good? I mean, how is it that we have a more talented roster, but it's like, man, them dudes, they in that upper echelon of they're right there below the Alabamas and Georgia. I mean, they are. If Lane Kiffin had comparable talent, man, he probably would win a national championship.
He probably
in my
would.
estimation.
He probably would.
Right. So it's just like
at least an SEC championship. At least an SEC championship.
So he has less talent than Auburn has, but yet he's running, you know, with the upper echelon of the SEC. With like, man, what is it? You know. I guess he's just that good of a coach, man. I gotta give him his flowers, man.
I think that's a 3-part question. I mean, 3-part answer that question.
Okay.
First, I think Lane schemes. I think he set stuff up like early in the game based on what he sees from the defense, and he'll see that, and then he may run something in the first quarter, but then in the third quarter he gonna hit you with what he saw in the first quarter again with something that's different. It looks the same, but it's something totally different coming out of it. Secondly, I think tempo helps out a lot, because if you look at the 2013 year with Gus, man, when we was tempoing, man, we was scoring points like I don't know what. You know what it is. But then I think the third thing is, I think it has to go back to when Lane was younger. Who his dad is. His dad is the legendary Monte Kiffin, defensive genius. So if you know exactly what type of defenses there are to run, you can better. I mean, because you can better scheme on offense of how to score points, because it's defense is defense. You can disguise it. You can dress it up. You can run as many twists. You can run a Tampa 2 defense. You can do all type of things, but there's always going to be a way to scheme around something. And when you've grown up with a man that actually knows defense in and out, and I'm pretty sure he taught it to him. And he's able to, see any defense and be like, all right, this works best for his defense. That's what I believe is what helps him out majority of the time.
Okay, man. Yeah, that's because I'm just wondering. I'm like, bro, they not even close to us in recruiting. It's like, and this dude just coming out here just like showboat, man. Just like they got elite people. And I guess too, I have to give him this too. Aside from that, he's probably a good evaluation. Who somebody on that side is a good evaluator of talent.
You better than Brian Hartman, I tell you that. Because I tell you this right now, Quinshawn Judkins is supposed to be in an Auburn uniform.
Yes, man.
I'm sorry,
that hurt my ears when you said it.
Supposed to be in an Auburn uniform.
Yeah, that hurt my ears when you said it.
He wanted. I mean, I'll leave it alone. But it is.
He hurt my ears when you say that, man. Let me see. Okay, let me ask you this. What was? And I know you probably gonna already know what you're gonna say, but what was the surprise of the game for you?
Payne Thorne.
Okay.
Payne Thorne.
Hey man, I'm glad so that let me know, you real, man. You get, what I'm saying? You saying what it is, man. Okay.
Payne Thorne surprised me. I was like, man, where was this all season? Come on, Payne Thorne. I think the last time we saw him do something like this was a Sanford game.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Rod. What was this?
I will say with Payne, man, and I was telling Slager this. I was like, if you look at the game, man, they just running a quick game. It's just a quick game, and it's making. I was like, is our offensive line good or bad? And she was like, they look good. I'm like, yeah, it's because they running a quick game. They not even giving the pass rush time to get going.
Exactly.
They hit the quick hitters out the backfield.
I think you and Marcus have been saying that all season.
Yeah,
it's still a quick game.
Yeah, it's just a quick game. Hit the backs out the backfield. We got talented backs, man. And we've been saying this all along, man. Hit Batee out the backfield. Let him go to work, man. Hit Fairweather on some slants, some hooks. He a big guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wish they would get Brandon Frazier involved more in the quick game with slants across the middle and just hitting pockets in his own. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, man. Put Fairweather, Frazier, you can put one attached and one detached. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Frazier attached and my other man detached, man, and let them work the middle of the field with their big bodies and then hit the other cats on hooks, slants, hit the guys out of the backfield, man. Just play a quick game. And when they creep up, then you hit them over the top. You hit your one-on-ones over. So I just don't understand. I'm not this football guru. None of us are from that sense, but it's like I don't have to get paid $6 million. You know what I'm saying? To understand that, man. And it's just I just don't get it, man.
It's true. That's true.
And I think
football is simple. It's simple. Yeah. It's really simple. I mean, you do stuff to kind of like scheme and trick the defense, and now it's all about eye discipline because that stuff. Because you can kind of get misplaced about where the ball is and stuff like that, because so many things are happening at the mesh point And when the snap happens, you got somebody coming in motion, you got a running back coming, and you got a quarterback. It's hiding the ball, basically. It's really all they doing. So you just got to understand where everything going. But you get this guy, you get this guy, you get this guy. If you do that, it's literally the triple off. It's literally the triple option offense, but in shotgun. That's really all that is.
Yeah, man. I'm just like, but you know what I'm saying with that. I was just kind of going through this thing where it's just like I'm like on the message board sometimes, and sometimes people, say, yeah, you guys aren't, coaches. You don't know better than the coaches, and you know what I'm saying. When you become a coach, folks go to arguing on the message board, and I just sit back. I'm like, man, nobody has to be a coach, man.
I know what my eyes see.
Yeah, you know what your eyes see, man. I don't have to be a mechanic to know oil is leaking from under my car. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oil is leaking from under my car, sir. You know what I'm saying? It's coming from one of several places.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Somewhere, maybe in the engine, maybe it's coming from the engine or my oil pan gasket.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of generally say, but it's just like a mechanic looking at you saying, oh, I'm a mechanic and I'm certified, so you don't know anything about what you're talking about. I don't think that's the case, man. I think anybody can look at a football game. You might not know the finer details. It's so much depth to football.
It is.
But I think people can generally look at football and be like, okay, bro, the DBs are playing back, man. Okay, run a short game.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just common sense, man. But I don't know what guys are thinking from that stance. Now, let me ask you this, man. On this thing with Hugh Freeze saying that he takes what the defense gives him. Mm-hmm. You heard that philosophy?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're like, I take what the defense give me, okay, and just this, I hope this makes sense. So bear with me. If you're saying I take what the defense give me, right? That means if I'm a defensive coordinator, I set up to stop the run against Auburn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go man on man on the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, what I'm doing is all I have to do is set up and run, and you're not gonna run. You're just gonna take what I give you.
Yeah.
So by that philosophy, if I just set up in a run and give you one-on-one, then in essence, I'm dictating what you're doing and telling you what to do. So I know, okay, he's gonna go 50-50 on the outside.
Yeah,
so be ready for it.
Reactionary all day.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just like, man, does that make sense? Is just for a full, I would like to just sit down and have a cup of tea and talk to him about that philosophy of we take what the defense gives us.
It's like I said, you just really looking at what they set up in. I mean, like all right. So for example, all right, if you were a quarterback or offensive coordinator,
okay,
and you set up, all right, you going. Let's say you in 12 personnel. So 12 personnel is one running back, 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver outside.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You come in, you got 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. So that's a 4-3. You got 7 in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have 4 DBs. So basically, one of those DBs is going to walk down to the end of the line. So basically, it's going to be a 5-3, or it's going to look like a 4-4. Anything. Why would you running the ball into a stack box anyway? And so unless your line is getting a push, you're gonna get negative. You're going to get some type of probably 2 yards, or you may get a negative yard depending on how your line is. But if you come out and let's say you going 2x2, 2x2, you got 2 wide receivers on each side, 2 wide receivers out on each side. All right, cool. And you come in, you got 3 down linemen. Well, it was like 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers in the box, and you got 5 safeties, 1 playing a star position. So basically, the star position is like a hybrid safety linebacker type position. Now you already outmatched. You're outmatched, unless you bringing a back out of the backfield and you're not using the back as protection, depending on how your line is to block for your quarterback. So now you outmatched already. Okay, you got 4 receivers, but you got 5 DBs. Somebody is not somewhere it's not gonna work. So now you want one-on-one, but somebody getting double team. So literally, all you doing is just trying to find the best matchup that you can get the ball to, that literally will give you the best result without devastation, without a turnover or interception. That's really all you're trying to do. It's really
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's simple. It's really simple. Then you get into a 3x1 set, or you may get into a stack set, or you may it's a bunch of things. Like, it's really reading and reactions of what the defense does. He is right. You take what the defense give you. If the defense is playing off, if the defense is playing zone, I already know I got a 5-yard cushion. I can short game. 5 yards, try to get 2, we're gonna get 7 yards, something like that. If you playing man up on me, I'm trying to get, all right, we going 50-50 ball.
Okay, but see, in that thing, then if I'm gonna tell you, I agree with that to a degree. I don't think you should live and die by that. Meaning, sometimes people can stack the box with the whole team in the box, and you still can't stop me from running. You see what I'm saying? So
if you got an offense that can do that, boy.
Right? But I'm saying, but if you always see that look, and you change out of what you want to do based on a look, you will never know. Sometimes you got to try the box and be like, man, let's try this box. You know what I'm saying? And see, can they really stop us? Because going against Auburn, this is what I would do. If I was a defensive coordinator and my defense just was trash, I would line up running back. I would line up to stop the run heavy, because I know what Hugh Freeze is going to do. He's going to check out an inning run, and they're going to go 50-50 ball. So I'm like, okay, let's set up in a 4-3, walk the safety down, give them a one-on-one, and all we're going to do is practice contesting 50-50 balls all day in practice, because that's all we're going to have to do. In essence, I'm scheming away from my weakness. Yeah. And I'm dictating the game now. As a defensive coordinator, I'm dictating the whole game. All I got to do is set up in a look, and I know if you're going to take, quote unquote, I'm just taking what the defense give me, I'm going to just set up in a look of what I'm weak at. And I'm going to get you to check to my strength. So I'm just like, to a degree, I agree. But then to a degree, I'm like, man, no, bro, you setting up in this. I done seen you can't stop the run on this field, man. You can't stop the run. We finna test you on that. You can't stop this slant. Yeah, you setting up like you can stop the slant, but we finna test and see, can you really stop it? So that's what I wanted, that philosophy, man. It's just like, people with that philosophy, it's like a good defensive coordinator can just scheme you out of your strength by just setting up like he can stop it. So you might not really be able to stop it, but let me set up like I can stop the run, man. These cats gonna check out of it, and then they're gonna throw a 50-50 ball.
The thing about Auburn is Auburn can run the ball, though. Auburn got like offensive line is good. Apparently, they look good at run blocking. That's not a problem.
Sure.
Then he had 144 yards rushing yesterday on 17 carries for Jarquez, or something like that.
But see, if I was the Mississippi State guy again, I would just set up I would stack the box, and I would just give them that look, so they'll check out of it. And okay, they're gonna check out of this. We're gonna give them a look. They're gonna check out. They're gonna throw a 50-50 ball to Fairweather, or either, what's the guy name on the other side? Hooks. Yeah. And I think we can cover Hooks.
Man, y'all tripping on Hooks, man. Hooks made a great catch and a great touchdown. Yeah, a great game.
He did, man. I it's just like, I was just expecting so much more, man. Hopefully he'll turn it on, man. He has been. What's crazy, I have seen, and I give the man his flowers, I have seen a change in his demeanor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He got a different look about himself, than he had been having. And maybe it was a confidence thing. Maybe he's learning the offense or whatever. But I could see a different kind of look. Let me hit you with this, man, and we're gonna get off. And this has nothing to do with necessarily Auburn. What stood out to you around the league last week? Yesterday actually.
Kentucky could have beat Tennessee.
Okay.
And I think Ole Miss has a chance of.
Don't you say it.
If the ball bounces their way,
George finna run around the house.
If the ball bounces their way, I think Ole Miss I think Ole Miss got a chance, man. And to be completely honest with you, if Ole Miss wins out and we beat Alabama, Ole Miss go.
Yeah. No, Alabama got to lose too.
Yeah, if we beat them.
No, but they only lost to Texas.
Oh, they only lost to Texas.
Yeah, they lost to Texas, man.
You're
LSU got to beat them this weekend.
That's right. If LSU beat Alabama this weekend,
yeah, then LSU will have to lose one because LSU beat Ole Miss. Right? LSU lost to who?
LSU lost
Florida
to
State.
LSU lost to Ole Miss.
Did they?
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right. You are correct. That's right.
Let me make sure my facts are correct before I confirm that. But I want to make sure I'm pretty sure Ole Miss beat LSU. I think it was like 55-49.
I think they did too, man.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, let me know, man. Let me know. But yeah, you're right. If Alabama take
55-49, Ole Miss beat LSU.
Yeah, see, I think LSU gonna beat Alabama.
Is that game in Tuscaloosa? That game is in Tuscaloosa. Yes, it is. Because game day going to Tuscaloosa. Yes. I'm gonna actually agree with you on that one. I think LSU come in, and I think it's more like, I know I've said this, but I think it's more like the Texas game because I think LSU can score with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think their defense can stop people enough. I mean, I think they've gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've gotten better because now they've actually put Perkins in a spot to where he naturally, all he needs to do is just go rush the quarterback instead of trying to drop back. Mm-hmm. So I think that has changed some things for them. I think LSU go in Tuscaloosa and get a win.
So if LSU going to Tuscaloosa and get a win, man, then you're gonna be looking at Ole Miss gonna be pulling for Auburn in the hour.
All day.
Okay, what other?
And if Auburn beat them, I made a comment early this season. I said, when has Ole Miss ever? I said, I don't think Ole Miss ever gonna make it to the SEC championship. I made a comment this season about that. And if we beat Alabama, they going to the SEC championship game.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this show up, y'all. And y'all, we gonna wrap this up, but this is gonna be to be continued because we gonna finish this discussion in the Vanderbilt pregame because it ain't a lot to talk about. I mean, ain't no disrespect, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That don't like okay. So
at least they built a new stadium. It's gonna look
right. So on this one, we will say, man, we glad we got the win, man. We looking forward, to this weekend, man, and tune in to the rest of this Vanderbilt pregame prediction show. And to this one, we end this one by saying, War Eagle. What you got, Nick?
War Eagle.
Eagle.
Oh man, crazy, man.